Oh, that's a lot of flashbulbs. Thank you. Thank you all for coming, braving the rains and the traffic. It took me an hour to come here from Andheri. God. Well, I'm here to share some things with you. Well, you know me. I'm a Delhi girl, and I've always wanted to be an actor. But you know, it was something that, I don't know, even I took a very long time to sort of admit it to myself. Because, I mean, I could just hear the Delhi aunties clucking their tongue and going like, Beta, it's not a very suitable thing for you to do. I mean, after all, a girl is supposed to behave in a manner that is appropriate to her surroundings. You see, I was middle class, I was little academically inclined, head girl, etc., came from a conservative family. I mean, hardly the trappings of a Bollywood heroine, right? And then, of course, when all of us grew up, what was the first toy that we sort of acquire? All you ladies in the room, your first toy. Barbie, it just sort of sets the yardstick for you for life. Perfection. That's what the world, that's what everyone around you tells you to do all the time. But you know, in my journey from the Delhi girl to now sitting here chatting with you, I figured something out for myself. I figured out that, and it's very profound, I figured out that Barbie can be dusky. I figured out that Barbie can be black. I figured Barbie can wear a t-shirt with holes, Barbie can run, she can bake, and if you send out Barbie to play cricket, she can hit a 6. I figured out that I could be Barbie. Really? Okay, hang on. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet or anything, but I'm pretty for, like, you know, by conventional standards. And when I say that, I'm very well aware of the weight to that statement. But, I mean, it's not like, you know, I mean, the fact that I'm an actress or I love my body or my face. Those are not things I love about myself. I love the fact that maybe I have crooked teeth. You know, my front 2 teeth sort of overlap. A scar I have on my leg, which I got from playing with my brothers, or that I have hobbit feet. Yes, this is the first time admission to exceptionally large feet. Okay, don't photograph them. Okay, yeah, I know. That's where you're going. No pictures of feet. Okay, go ahead, whatever. But, you know, the fact that I love movies. I've always loved watching movies. I've grown up watching them. They've sort of brought the magic alive, and now I'm a part of movies, and it's honestly, it's amazing. And as an actor, every single day, there's so much scrutiny about my hair, what am I wearing, I should have worn leggings on flared pants, etc., etc. It's crazy, but hey, at least I signed up for it, right? But that's not just for actors, for everybody, every woman out here. Okay, let me ask you all. Every woman here, me included, now let's be honest, ladies, haven't you all once in your life looked at another woman who's done nothing wrong with you, who said nothing bad to you, you've looked at her and said, that skinny woman eats all the garbage she wants to eat, anything that comes across her way, and oh my God, she does not put on an ounce. God, please, dear God, just make her wake up one single day and just make her just really fat. We've done that, right? We've done that, right? Come on, I want to hear some applause, a cheer if you've done that ever in your life. Once I've done it, I'm sure you have. There you go. And you know why you've done that? You've done that because we constantly are bombarded, you know, with messages from movies, from TV shows, ads, magazine covers, for crying out loud, by just perfection. That there's only one definition of a perfect you. And guess what? Nobody fits in. Not one of us. We are constantly taught not to love ourselves. But you know, today has been so amazing. It's been really amazing for me because I was back then, I was listening to all this, and I and all of us have seen, heard, experienced such amazing women. Women who didn't sit around waiting for the world to judge or to approve of them. They didn't need anybody else's permission. They just went out there and lived their lives. Full, rich lives. They taught themselves to love who they were. I mean, bahar mein jaye, all the perceptions and all the perceived flaws that we're supposed to have. They didn't need anybody to give them anything. They just took it Carpe diem, seize the day, right? Because you already know what the world wants you to be. The world wants you to be 6'2", size 0, or wait, size -2 or -3 or whatever the new fancy eating disorder we are promoting this week, you know. And women should be seen, not heard. Speak when spoken to. They want your complicit silence. But you know what the world really wants? What the world really needs? It needs your voice. Your honest, beautiful, unique voice. Just like the voices we heard today. Just like the stories we heard today. Thank you so much for sharing all your stories, all your experiences. It's just been so enriching. Thank you, Femina, because it's so amazing that you're trying to set better examples, better role models for all of us, for young girls to look up, to follow. I just think that's just really cool. Isn't it? I think that's damn cool. Yeah, you could be any size, any age, skin color, hair texture, socio-cultural, political background, even disability. And yet they're so beautiful, so unstoppable. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've showed us that when we learn to love who we truly are, when we learn to own, and to my favorite poet, thank you for listening to me so patiently. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need of my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Thank you, and that's all of you ladies out there. So just go, do your thing.
Thank you, Huma. You were perfect. And such fun. Come. So that was fabulous. It was a surprise act for all of us, ladies and gentlemen, that Huma came up with. I would also like to quickly snatch the opportunity, seize the moment and ask you. You mentioned, people noticing that one little zit that appears, the media, they all hear. Hi. The 4 kilos that you lost, which you did, by the way. So how does it feel to be under constant scrutiny all the time? And do you sort of change your mind before stepping out? Hey, I'm going for a walk, but maybe I'll put on a little bit of makeup before I do.
Well, see, I mean, of course, it's kind of like, it's a part of what I do. It's a part of my job. So it's constant, I don't know, just breaking down on who you are or how you're looking. It of course, troubles you. See, I'm choking already. No, but to be very honest, I think if you don't feel beautiful, nothing can. No makeup, no accessory, not what you're wearing. It's just an attitude, I think. And yes, sometimes it is bothersome. And I think that is why all of us, whether as an actor or the media or everybody, it's a collective responsibility to just send out these powerful messages where you don't have a particular, just one kind of model of beauty or acceptance. I think there's so many real women out there. So all of us are so beautiful, so unique in our ways. And I think what we really need is for young people to have better role models, people they can look up to, identify with, and really feel empowered in that sense. I think, that's the need of the hour.
And if I were to ask you who is your role model, who would that be?
Well, it's a little cliche, but I have to say my mom. She's been the biggest influence in my life, and she's made me who I am, and she's been very strict with me, which is why I ensured that I had to get some education, which is good. But I think it has to be my mother.
And can I ask you, is there an unhealthy habit you are still trying to kick, haven't kicked, planning to?
Yeah. It's my caffeine intake. Yeah, guilty as charged, but then I can't do without my few, I'll not say how many, because then you'll just quote that and then it'll become really embarrassing, but yeah, I need to cut down on my coffee.
So Huma, yes, that'll be great. Yeah, so it's great to have you on the cover and to unveil the big, really the big moment, the big cover here. I would also like to call up on stage my CEO, the CEO of Worldwide Media, Mr. Tarun Rai. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Tarun. Good to have you up on stage. We are unveiling the cover now. But I will ask you one question, just because we are fishing for compliments all the time. Tell me, how does it feel to work with in an office with a lot of women, mostly unstoppable ones?
Well, before I answer that question, I was sitting there and listening to all the stories, and I'm amazed. They're truly unstoppable women, including Huma. And thank you very much for being here, for participating in the issue, and for helping us launch the new Femina. As far as our office is concerned, I can very proudly say that more than 70% of our employees in our organization are women. I'm pretty happy. I think in Femina it might be even more than 70%. And I feel truly blessed that they are there. I genuinely think, since we are fishing compliments, yes, they are unstoppable. I don't know how they manage. They manage their lives, they manage their personal lives, they go and have babies, and yet the magazine comes out every fortnight looking better than before. I just don't know how they manage. I really think that as an organization and as a brand, Femina has been unstoppable, and I think it's been unstoppable because of the unstoppable team that we have, and they are fighters. Unfortunately, they fight with me a lot, but they're truly unstoppable. So thank you.
Thank you.